Thanks for joining today's snapshot for December 30th. We're just going to have fun today. This is a snapshot that's unlike any other I've done for the people of Dr. Martin Luther Church. I want to go back 2 days to the snapshot for Monday, in which I talked about the feast day of St. Stephen, the martyr, falling the day after Christmas, and how odd it is to have a martyrdom remembered after the beautiful memorial and celebration of the gift of the Christ child. I talked about how that was expressed appropriately through the movement of the term Bethlehem to the term Bedlam. And I talked about an insane asylum in England that was called Bethlehem Hospital, the first insane asylum, or asylum for the mentally ill, I guess you'd say in these days, or mentally challenged, in England in 1247. And the people in England called it Bethlehem, and that quickly moved to the term Bedlam. And that was a term used to talk about things going off kilter as we know it today, because of the sounds coming from the hospital and because of the poor administration of the hospital. And I said, what is the movement of that term, Bethlehem to Bedlam? What's it called? Well, I found out that it's actually just called a derivative. That's the etymology of the word. It's a derivative of Bethlehem. Bedlam is a derivative. But I wondered, I thought it was called a gliss. And Catherine Puisto, a member of the church, relatively new member of Dr. Martin Luther Church, looked it up and sent me the definition of glissando, which is a movement of from one note to the other that isn't a direct movement of the note like Mary, but it goes Mary, it slides. And a gliss is when that happens with a series of little tiny notes in between. Mary, for example. But anyway, that's what a gliss is. So now you know. But I wanted to talk today about an anniversary today. Today is the anniversary of my, oh, I can't believe I'm telling you this, my favorite TV show. This is a guilty pleasure I have. I love Let's Make a Deal. If I have the chance to watch that while having my breakfast or a meal later in the day that I finally sit down to, I always put on the taping of Let's Make a Deal starring Wayne Brady. In fact, I'm so nuts about him, as is my wife. She might not like me confessing her guilty pleasure. We once traveled from Racine to New York City to see Wayne Brady star in the Broadway production Kinky Boots, written by Cyndi Lauper. Took us 3,000 miles. We went down to Florida on the way and then came back up to New York and then back to Racine. He's just fantastic and he makes us laugh. Well, this makes me think of the origin of Let's Make a Deal. And the star of that show before Wayne Brady, of course, was Monty Hall. And he's famous now for the Monty Hall problem. And I'm going to explain it to you. You have 3 doors at the final deal, the big deal. And the 3 doors are door 1, door 2, and door 3. Now, let's just say you chose one of door 1 or door 2. We'll actually have you make the choice in just a second. So let's see which one you're going to choose. Here's a Leica camera lens cover for this Leica camera over my shoulder, and I'm going to flip it and see which comes up. Well, it came up blank, so we're going to do with door number 2. This is not pre-programmed. I don't know what is in door 2. So that's your door. And then Monty Hall knows what's in door number 3. And we're going to open that up. And door number 3 is a trip. Taking my time here. A trip to Sweden. So now you have that option. You can take the trip to Sweden, or you want the car. And if you want the car, you know the car is going to be behind either door number 1 or door number 2. And you took door number 2, right? So do you want to keep door number 2 or do you want to go to door number 1? Now, what are your odds of getting the car? You might think that your odds of getting the car are 50%. You got 2 options. But because Wayne Brady and Monty Hall took out option number 3, suddenly your chances of getting the car are 2/3 if you switch to door number 1. Let's see if it works. My wife set this up. I don't know. We want the word car to come up when I open this up. And if it doesn't work, this is a horrible snapshot. What comes up? A car. See, I told you. Isn't that fun? That's a statistical probability exercise. So I told you this was just all fun today, nothing serious, but I am going to conclude with one little section of a hymn. Athlete and band, loud cheering people, sing to the Lord a new song. God has done marvelous things. I too will sing praises with a new song. I love the concept of play, giving us a sense of eternity. I'm going to end this snapshot and go turn on my taping of the Badgers playing in the Duke's Mayo Bowl against Wake Forest. God bless you. Sorry I went a little long. I hope you were entertained.